rainbow. There's a paradise, there's a panacea that will cure all our problems. And if it isn't the Soviet Union, it's North Korea, it's Cuba, it's North Vietnam. It will be somewhere. Somewhere it will be better, and where we won't have to wake up in the morning and have to pay our bills and take care of our children. That's just the nature of, seems to be a nature of the human condition. The people are always hoping.
And by the way, nuclear case, Rudolf Father, it was a period about what you are saying, and lawyer Donovan, she came to the side of a Russian spy. How do you think, why did she do this?
Who was Lord? I don't know the name.
Donovan.
Well, this is James Donovan.
Yes. He was a lawyer of the
Right.
Father. He was a lawyer of the spies of the enemies.
Yes, right.
How do you think, what was his people that surround him, what do they think, and why did she decide to be a lawyer, or he had no chance not to decide? How do you think, what about this situation?
Well, I'm not familiar with the case, so I'm not really sure I know how I could legitimately respond. Unless you could rephrase it in such a way that I could...
I would understand it.
Yeah.
But for example, it was Rudolf Father, Soviet spies. Everybody said he is a Soviet spy.
Rudolf Abel.
Rudolf Father.
Right.
And Donovan is lawyer.
Right.
Right. How do you think the people around Donovan, what do they think about him? Maybe they say, what, are you on the Russian side? You want to say the spice is good? I think that it was some emotional contact. It was difficult for him to do this job, or maybe not. How do you think?
Well, the problem is that I really don't have knowledge of the case. I mean, I do have knowledge, of course, of Morton Sobel, and I'm writing his biography now, and he did have contact, I believe, with Rudolf Abel, and right, that's correct. There was an informant named, I believe, Ray Hanen. Right, but I'm not really, qualified to comment about Donovan at all.
And what about Sobel and his wife? Her history, maybe her history. It's very interesting. History of this book to understand. Maybe the history of the wife of Martin Sobel.
Yes. Well, the amazing thing about Morton Sobel is that he has confessed in 2008, and I interviewed Morton for my book Red Love in 1982, and we reestablished contact now, and I'm writing the biography, so I have a close contact with him. Your question about Helen, well, I knew Helen. I mean, you have to understand, these people all had the same mindset. They all thought the same way. They all lied the same way. They all did it in the name of what they thought was humanism and a great cause. I remember Helen telling me that anything blacks did, whatever crimes they committed, were justified. Now, I've heard that phrase since then by many people. It's the whole point of view that political prisoners are always innocent, even if they're guilty, because they're out to undermine the system, and therefore they're on the side of the angels. Helen was a very intelligent woman. She played a major role in the Sobel case because Morton was in prison. So she was a glamorous figure at these rallies. I saw her speak. She had people crying and weeping, and paying lots of money in fundraising. She traveled around the world. She visited Bertrand Russell. She visited all the major Jean-Paul Sartre. She was photographed with all of them. She had a great time while Morton was in prison. The Helen had an affair and she visited Morton with her lover, and the prison officials tried to break Morton by telling him what was going on, particularly since the lover was black. And Morton supported Helen in her. I mean, he was hurt, deeply hurt, but if you talk about any of these people, even though they're inwardly they're all different human beings, but in this regard they were all the same. They all have the same reference points. They all have the same goals, and their number one goal was the defeat of America and democracy, and the triumph of the other side, particularly the Soviet Union, and then later the Viet Cong and Vietnam. And I say this not out of any sense of dislike, because I really love a lot of these people, but that's the bane of being a novelist. And I do write about them with a lot of humor and understanding, and I do present their point of view. That's the other thing I should say is we cannot fully understand them without understanding that they grew up in the shadow of fascism and the American Depression, the denial of civil rights to blacks, and great poverty, economic upheaval. And that was partly what shaped their entire lives, and which they were never able to get away from.
Stop for a moment.
Yeah.